Hello and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about the nurses' strike or potential strike for all the members of the RCN. This could get a little bit ranty, because I'm sure you all know my strong support for NHS staff, not just the nurses on the wards but the surgeons and the community nurses. The RCN will be sending out ballot papers over the next few days. They are strongly advising their nurses, their members, to strike. The nurses that I've spoken to in hospital have candidly revealed that they will support the strike. They will vote yes, they do want to strike. With the backing of the RCN, I strongly suspect that they will vote to strike for the first time in 106 years of the history of the NHS that it has come to this. Now, the nurses love their jobs. That's absolutely obvious. They love what they do and they love helping people. But enough is enough, as the RCN say. They've been ignored for far too long. Their only course of action left open to them is to strike. My opinion is that I fully support them. They should strike. They should go ahead. I hope they all just vote to strike. Now, obviously, the government have been quick to jump on this. See, the government, my opinion on this is the government has always been, well, you know, the nurses, they'll never strike. It's like the emergency services. The police will never strike. They can't strike. The nurses will never strike. Who's going to make sure that the patients in the hospitals are going to be okay? Anyway, the government has said that they will want the nurses to carefully consider the impact on patients. Well, the RCN aren't stupid, and neither are nurses. Give them a bit more credit, government. Obviously, the critical wards will be staffed as usual. It's the non-essential medical services that will be affected. So any scaremongering you hear from the government about, oh, well, they're going to close down. Listen, the nurses striking is nowhere near going to be as detrimental as the things that this government has done to the NHS. That's just for comparison. The RCN has 300,000 members. Ballots are being sent out over the next few days, as I say. Because they've got the backing of the RCN, I strongly suspect that the ballot will be in favour of striking. And I support the strike. Nurses work in sometimes incredibly pressurised and challenging environments. They need our support, and going outside and clapping is not putting food on the table. It's not giving them the living that they deserve for the work that they do. Next time MPs want a wage rise, you know what we should do? Get out on our doorsteps and clap, if you feel inclined to do so. I personally wouldn't be. But sure, if the government thinks that clapping for the NHS is a good thing, you know, helps them along, let's do it for the MPs when they want a next pay rise. Let's actually give the NHS staff the wage rise they need. and not the... Let me refer to my notes. 4.75 more increase, which will be swallowed by inflation, cost of living. So it's not a real-time wage rising at all. And the RCN are right, and rightly so, are up in arms about it, because this is just flicking a towel at the lion's love spuds. So, should they strike? Yes, they should. They should strike. Train drivers, well, train unions are striking now. I don't know whether the that legal arm in the country is still striking, but this is the result of the country being mismanaged for so long. When you have the nurses having no other option than to go on strike in its 106-year history, you know something has gone badly wrong in this country. They need our support more than ever, especially when they do strike. And I hope that you will support them. Not by going outside and clapping on the doorstep, as fine a gesture as that is towards the staff. They need something more tangible, like a living wage. They deserve it. And we should support them in their efforts to get that wage rise, which means that their jobs, that the work they do on a daily basis will make ends meet for them and their families. Maybe encourage more people into the NHS instead of just qualifying and then going into the private sector, which I'm sure the Conservative government love. But the public don't. We love our NHS. We want our NHS. We don't want private healthcare like the Americans. I certainly don't. I think that about covers it, all the salient points I wanted to make. There's a few articles, the BBC have covered it, Guardian have covered it. On the Substack I'll link to the RCN website itself, which has got a large, quite a lengthy piece justifying why they are advising their members to strike, which is quite insightful. Nurses are not asking the world. They're asking for fair pay for the job that they do. They save lives. They keep people alive. They kept me alive. What they get paid is a pittance compared to the life-saving and critical work that they do for all of us. At the point we are admitted to hospital, we are into their care. They need our support right now, especially with them having to strike. And just remember, as some of the nurses have said to me, they don't want to strike. They love the jobs that they do, but there is no other way. There is no other way of getting the government to give them the salary increase that they deserved. I'm not sure how much the trusts are involved in here, but that's a different story. I want to conclude with one last thing. NHS parking fees for staff. I have been quiet on this, but I haven't stopped working. It's still an ongoing thing. As you can probably understand, you just hit brick wall after brick wall, but there'll be a way through. I'll find it eventually. Having failed really to get the government to commit to anything beyond rhetoric and stating the bleeding obvious, I've decided to go through the trusts. Now, nothing may come of it. I'm expecting nothing. Anyway, I've written to various chief executives in a way to try and find the best way for Suffolk Trust to get free parking for the NHS staff. I'm still working out a solution. It's crazy, isn't it? I'm a layman and I know nothing about the internal workings of how the NHS, other than, you know, it saves them money to contract work like that out, to security for the car parks and maintenance. But there has to be a way, and I'm just trying to work out the best solution. Please contact me if you have a solution to be able to eradicate parking fees for the staff, and also the fines as well, because they're just ridiculous. Okay, well, rambled on far too long now, getting silly. Thank you for stopping by the video and watching. I really do appreciate it, each and every one of you. Stay safe and enjoy your weekend this weekend. Bye bye.